Hey loves, happy Wednesday and thank you for coming back to my channel. If this is your first time visiting my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that you'll continue to stop by to see if there's anything that I'm talking about that resonates with you. My name's Nancy and I'm your life advice vlogger of today. And today I'm going to talk about the human connection and kind of how lost in translation we are in that area with all this technology and everyone's busy robotic lives, and why it's important to stay connected face-to-face with humans, or even just stay connected by way of verbal communication rather than texting and emailing and instant chatting. But I'm also going to cover, I guess, the pros and cons, or the goods and bads, or the etiquette around instant chat and DMs in your social media inboxes, because it's been a huge concern of mine, and it happens. I mean, it's kind of the way that we're communicating nowadays. And I just think there's a lot to be said about it, good, bad, and indifferent. So I hope you'll stay tuned. So to start off, the human connection, I'm 50 years old, so I'm actually 50 years young. But when I was growing up, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have computers. And although that's kind of hard to believe right now, it's weird because I can't imagine life without either of those things. The truth is, when I was growing up, we had home phones that if someone from the outside was calling and the phone was being used, we got a busy signal. We had to go outside to find our friends and play with our friends, or see who was home, play in the streets. We played dodgeball. We did all kinds of different things at our friends' homes or outside, at the park, wherever. We got dropped off by our parents to go to the movies. We walked places to go shopping. So we were very connected physically with our friends. And when we talked on the phone to our friends, we would call them and talk to them on the phone, and you would hear the emotion, and you would have a chat, and you would feel each other's energy and all of that. And although people still talk on the phone, it's very rare, to be honest. Even with some of my closest friends and some of the relationships I'm in, they are 90% communicated via text message or instant chat. 90%. That's a huge percentage. And I'm not even exaggerating that percentage. I miss human connection a lot. I miss it because I love to feel the energy and really understand what someone is saying when they're communicating with me, and understand what they mean and ask if I don't understand. And when we can hear the emotion in people's voices, we can discern that. But when we're texting people or DMing, you don't really know all the time what someone is insinuating. Are they being serious? Are they being sarcastic? And it's just a really lost gift, to be honest. And what's happening, because this is something that we don't do often enough anymore, is we're losing the ability to build relationships. Because I don't consider a text or a direct message, DM or instant message, a means of building a relationship. You're not building a relationship. Relationships warrant relating to one another. And I personally don't feel like you can relate to someone by texting and not hearing their voice and seeing their face and watching their body language and feeling their energy. You really can't, although you can feel some energy through texting. It's just not the same as the human connection. And in addition to that, since we are so full of technology and we're all on our phones, I'm speaking for myself as well. I'm not blaming anyone, because I'm trying to really practice putting down my phone more, especially when I'm in the company of others. And it's very difficult, I'm not going to lie. But what's happening is, not only are we not relating in general because we're choosing to text and direct message people, but when we get together with friends and family, or even just networking at networking groups, we all have our phones, and we take them out and we look at them and we check our messages, and we get all into the phone. And then the person that we're with, or the people we're with, are secondary. When in reality, if you're physically getting together with someone or a group of people, that should be first. The phone shouldn't even really be secondary. But again, like I said, I'm not throwing stones. I'm to blame as well. I tend to have it on the table. I don't even put it in my purse. And my point to this video is that this is really a sad reality that we're living in right now with this, because we are losing the ability to build relationships by texting people and direct messaging. And not only that, the respect level is going out the window with how we communicate via text and direct message. There's so many facets to this whole technology communication thing that I could probably talk for hours, but I won't. When I first moved to Arizona and I was dating and I went out on dates, I'll never forget there was a date I went on. It was on a Saturday afternoon, and we went and drove to an old neighborhood that I used to live in 30 years ago because I wanted to see the old house that I lived in. And after that, we went for some Mexican food for like a late lunch. And not only did the man that I was going on this date with have one cell phone, but he had two. And I can't remember one thing about him. I remember a little bit about what he looks like. I don't remember anything that we talked about except for briefly he mentioned what he does for a living, because the entire time we were at the restaurant, that man was on his cell phones. In fact, he was on his cell phones in the car because I drove. We met up and then I drove to go to my old neighborhood. I drove my car. And he was literally taking calls or calling out and texting the entire time. So I knew within 5 minutes, I didn't even actually want to go to lunch because I was ready to call off the date, but I didn't want to be rude. And so I went and thinking, okay, I'll give this guy a chance. Maybe because I'm driving and he's sitting and he's relaxing, we're not interacting. But no, we got to the restaurant and it was just like I wasn't even there. I wanted to be like, yoo-hoo, hello. I think if I would have gotten buck naked and stood right in front of him, I don't think he would have budged from his phones either. Seriously, like it was so rude, and I just lost all interest. And the sad reality is that although that was a date, which in that case should have even been more so reason for him to shove his phones into a pocket or get rid of them or take them off the table or whatever, or not answer them, at least give me a half an hour at a time or an hour. But it's happening whether it's a date, whether it's friends, whether it's family, whether it's a spouse, it's happening all the time. We're sitting here with our phones as an appendage, and we're paying more attention to what's happening on our phone than with the person or the company that we're with. And it's really making things tough when it comes to building relationships. I cannot stand when I am in a position where like I just want to have quality time with someone and they're constantly picking up their phone, constantly texting. It's so rude because I may as well not be with that person or that company. But again, like I said, I have a habit of doing it myself. There are certain people that I do my very best to stay off my phone when I'm around. And I'm also going to make a confession that sounds horribly tit for tat and horribly immature, but I'm going to admit to it. There are a couple people in my life that I get so irritated when they're on a phone call, or not a phone call because they're not on phone calls in front of me. When they text while I'm with them trying to have quality time, that I will just pick up my phone and start being on mine as well. Just for the sole purpose that I'm realizing that within those first few minutes that I'm showcasing that I'm not on my phone and we're together and hey, I literally just pick up my phone and say, fuck it. And it doesn't feel good to me to do that, but I get to this point where I'm like, you know what? This is the way our relationship is. This is the way that this relationship is. And it doesn't matter if we see each other every other month. It doesn't matter if we see each other every 5 months. It doesn't matter if we see each other once a week or every day. This is the way this relationship has been built, and this is the way it's going to be built. And that doesn't feel good. Whether it's a friend, whether it's an intimate relationship, whether it's a family member, the bottom line is it doesn't matter who the person or who the group of people are. It doesn't feel good. And when you start to get to that point where that doesn't feel good, the relationship can no longer be built. It can no longer grow. It's just stagnant, in my opinion. And although you care for those people, you just kind of feel like you're not a priority. I don't want to make someone feel like they're not a priority that I care about. And I don't want to be made to feel like I'm not a priority. So I think that we need to really pay a lot more attention to how much we're on our phones, and not only just with company, but by ourselves. I've really been practicing when I'm by myself to stay off of my phone for a period of time. And if I have to be on my phone, that I'm doing something that's pushing me forward in an area of my life that I'm trying to grow and improve in. And so that would be in meditations, because I love to listen to meditations and find new ones. And e-reading, so like an ebook. I love to read, so ebooks are really great. Or reading, like just catching up. I don't watch the news because I think the news sucks, and half the time you don't know if it's true or not, because if you go to one channel it says one thing and the other channel on the same topic or same subject says something totally different. So just my opinion, I don't really do the news, but I read things that are going to educate me and help me in an area that I'm trying to learn or to grow, like in my business or something like that. So I'll read certain articles on certain people or entrepreneurship or whatever. I'm trying to, if I'm going to be on my phone, do something that's a worthy use of my time or valuable use of my time. Instead of scrolling on Facebook or scrolling through Instagram, which, as I said, I'm going to sit here and admit, I do that still too much. But not only do we need to build relationships in person or pick up a phone and actually call them and have a conversation, or video call. I think video call is better than phone call. If you can video call someone, you're seeing their face, it's like you're with them. I do that with my grandbabies, and it's the best thing in the world. I don't do it often enough with them, and I can't wait till they're older and they can say, call Nana, let's call Nana. Because my son and my daughter-in-law are very busy. Ooh, my foot's falling asleep. My son and daughter-in-law are very, very busy. And so, I get it. We're on different time zones and the boys have a certain bedtime and whatever. But bottom line is, that's how you build relationships. If you can get on video chat, that's the best. But as I said, the other important piece to this is you're not building and growing a relationship with yourself if you're constantly on your phone being fed social media and news and stuff that's online, and you're constantly in a screen. So I'm on a computer all day for work, which is bad enough for my eyes. But then when I'm not working, I'm on my phone. So we have to do things like back in the day when I was younger, when I was growing up, and that's go outside, get in nature, get grounded with Mother Earth, do things that you love, go to concerts, go on hikes, go for a jog, go work out, get to the gym, walk around a store. Even if you're not shopping and you don't have the money to shop, or even if you do have the money to shop, but you have nothing you need to buy or whatever, go walk around a mall. Like, do something where you're out and connected to human energy, like in-person human energy. Now, with that said, I will say it's scary to be out there. You never know what's going to happen. There's so much scary stuff, but we can't just be a hermit and just sit in our house and just veg all day. We can't do that. It's not good for us. And I work from home, so I have to get out of the house. So the gym, I get out every day and go to the gym, which is great, but I like to go on hikes and get out. Whatever you need to do to get out and connect with human energy, I suggest you do it. It's really important. Having those connections and building relationships is never going to happen if you're on video games, on a computer, and in your phone all day, no matter what that means. Even if you're not on social media. I know some people that don't do social media, if at all, but they're texting all the time. Or they're on, the internet looking up this or going on YouTube or whatever. You're still in your freaking phone. It's so annoying. And I know it's annoying about me when I do it, but I've gotten a lot better. And specifically when I'm with certain friends or family or relationships, people that I want quality time with, whether we're sitting there and watching a movie and not even talking to each other, the bottom line is we're in the moment together. We are watching the movie, or we're talking or enjoying a meal. So whether we're talking face to face or not in those minutes or hours or whatever, we're still connected to each other. And we're connected to the movie we're watching or whatever, the food we're freaking eating, but we're not sitting there distracted by what's going on. Because guess what? I don't want to sit next to someone that's constantly sitting there texting. Number one, I don't know who they're texting. And number two, regardless of who they're texting, whoever they're texting, that's where their mind is, on what that conversation is about. Their mind is on what they have to respond with, what they've been told or asked. And guess what? I'm not in the picture at that point. I'm just sitting there like the invisible fucking man, woman, Yeah, I'm still a woman. I'm not a man. So it's irritating. It's really irritating, and it's getting old, and I'm trying to fix that about myself, and I'm going to do my damnedest to continue to do that. And I'm also going to work a lot harder on the tit for tat, where when someone is clearly staying in their phone, when I'm clearly not in mine, and then I go to pick it up because I don't want to just sit there waiting and waiting to be noticed and waiting to be communicated with. So I'm really going to keep working on that. And, sometimes in life, when you get to a point where things just aren't comfortable anymore and things don't feel good, and even if you communicate it, if it's not being heard or there's no action taken after, there's no change, then you know what? I mean, you just don't relate with that person anymore. But my point is, like, certain relationships just are never going to grow. And the ones that are meant to grow and that should grow will grow. And if they don't, then don't be afraid to move on for those types of reasons. Because we all say, oh, this relationship ended about money, or we fight too much, or there's a cheating thing, or someone's lying, or this or that. But guess what you never hear? You never hear someone saying, you know what, the relationship didn't work out because he or she is always on their fucking phone, constantly texting people or taking phone calls. And it's like, you can't take an hour or two out of your day and just let everyone wait, or just be in the moment with me or the people you're with. So it's just, you just can't build a relationship that way. So I hope that's like really sinking in to whoever's watching this, because it is really important. And when you get this little light bulb that goes on that says, this just doesn't feel good anymore, I don't know how we're growing. I don't know how this is staying together or growing and being mutually a good, healthy relationship, friendship, acquaintance, business associate type thing, if when we're together physically, we're still not together. We're disconnected. So just some food for thought that I wanted to bring up. The other thing I want to say is I am on social media a lot. It helps me build my business because I'm a mind-body coach. It helps me be a role model and a voice and have a platform to share what I'm trying to share with the masses. So on that note, social media and technology is fucking awesome. It's a great platform, and we all could get some great benefit out of it if it's used correctly, to build a business or to build a network or to build a following for whatever it is that you're working on. So on that note, awesome. But what I have an issue with is the way that we are losing in etiquette. When I was growing up, my mom taught me and my siblings that if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. There was a time in my life when I had no voice. I had a voice, I didn't use my voice. Let me say that. I had a voice, I didn't use it for fear reasons. And today I have a voice and I more than use it. When I say more than use it, it's because there are times when I know I shouldn't use it, and it would probably serve me well to just let shit go and move on. Because as my son told me today, say less. And I've always heard the saying, less is more. And in this case, less is more, but there are times when I just can't help it and I have to respond to things. And recently had a situation on my social media where I didn't appreciate the way a male addressed me. So I, on my page, on my post, respectfully said, that would be Nancy to you, which is my name. And I explained why. And I said, I was asked, respectfully, I'm just saying, with all due respect, please, thank you, smiley face, whatever. It was very respectful. But he came back with a snarky remark, and then it set me off, and I was in my zone, and I was like, I didn't cuss him out. I wasn't an asshole. But I wanted to be heard. And I didn't just want to be heard by him, because honestly, people can only accept where they are. They can only accept you where they are. So people can only love you as much as they love themselves. If they don't love themselves very much, they sure ain't going to love you very much. Not more than they love themselves. And if they don't love themselves very much, they're going to have a very challenging time giving you love in the way that you need or deserve. Same goes for when you speak to someone. If I want to go off on someone in a nice or a not nice way, they're only going to hear me at the level that they can comprehend, if that makes sense. And so sometimes when you're going off on someone in the most respectful manner, they don't hear you. It's like, in this case, that was the case. But it wasn't only for him that I wanted to shoot back. I wanted to shoot back, hoping that every man who happened to read that post found that comment, found what he said to me, found my response, and then found what I was saying, elaborating on it when he decided to respond with the fact that I just disrespected him, which was stupid. And the reason is because there's an etiquette. I'm an adult. I want to be treated like one, but more importantly, I want to be treated with respect. We are behind computer screens and phones. So people want to shoot off at the mouth and say things. And I have to wonder, would you talk to me like that if you saw me in person? If this dude rolled up in the grocery store and saw me and remembered, thought I looked familiar, like, hey, that's Nancy from Facebook. I follow you. And he said this and addressed me the same way that he addressed me in my thing. I don't know that he would do that. I don't think he'd walk up and say, baby. I really don't. And if he did, well, then he's just as much of an asshole as I already thought he was anyway. My point is, we're behind cameras and it's like you're behind a mask. So people want to and just mouth off and spew because they're safe. They think they're safe. But it's really rude. And there's a lot of thirsty people out there. I believe there's thirsty men, and I also believe there's thirsty women. So this is not me bashing men. Definitely not me bashing all men. I never group an entire population of people or groups. It's not about that. But I will say that just because I and or other women post pictures of themselves in clothing, in workout wear, in bikinis, or whatever we choose to wear, if I want to hop on my screen in a burlap sack, that doesn't warrant you coming at me telling me I'm yummy and delicious and baby. It's really disrespectful. And again, the human connection, this all ties in because the human connection is everything. You are making a first impression of yourself when you make a comment on someone's social media page. No, we might not know you. We may never have chatted with you. We don't even maybe know that you follow us or you're a Facebook friend and we just accepted you at some point. Or you're just like, this man just follows my public stuff and isn't even a friend of mine on there. The bottom line is it's still a part of how we connect today. It's a really shitty connection when you can't respect a woman. I don't post my posts to say, hey, look at me. I'm this and I'm that. No. And if you think that, then you've never read my posts because I have a very strong purpose for why I post what I post. I'm role modeling a journey of health and wellness, of mind, body, and spirit, of an awakening, of a transformation, of living life in a happy place with inner peace, with joy, with gratitude, with love, with sharing, with helping people rise up, men, women, children, and pets, for God's sake. And pictures complement the words and words complement the pictures. If I just posted all my long ass winded posts and never put a picture with them, I promise you no one would read them. And the sad reality, but not really sad, is that if I put a picture up, more people's eyes will get on it. I think the people that need to be reading it, read it. Maybe not all of them do, but most of them do, whether they're long or not. And then there's the people that are like scrolling going, oh my God, another like page long thing from Nancy. I'm not reading it. Fine. I really don't care because like I said, I'm of the belief that the people that are meant to read my stuff read it and the ones that aren't don't. And that's totally okay. But it's proof, like if you're advertising a product and you want to say how awesome it is and these are the features and these are the benefits, but you don't have a picture of the product, it's not as interesting. You're not as apt to buy it or want it or think, dang, I need to look at this more. Same thing goes for people or thoughts. When people put their motivational, inspirational thoughts and there's a picture that is aligned with it or goes with it, it just gives you the whole picture. If I'm describing my trip in Greece and Santorini and the colors of the buildings and the stucco and the water and the mountains and whatever, but there's no picture, okay, you might be like, well, damn, I kind of want to go there. But I promise you, if I put a picture of the villa by the water on the ledge with the sun shining and all the stuff around, you're like, oh my God, that's heaven on earth. And I need to go there. It's a fact. So my point to saying all that is to please have etiquette Okay, we do live in a world where sex, drugs, and rock and roll is still the thing, and that's what everyone wants to see. And now media bullshit and politics and ugliness, somehow news and politics and media and all that shit, people want to see that too. It's misery loves company. But for the people like me that don't care about that stuff and don't partake in it because it's ugliness and it's immaturity and ignorance, I do want to be on the side of inspiration and role modeling and loving and showing the power of growth, personal growth and love and existence and grounding and connecting in all ways. And so to do that, I use a whole hell of a lot of pictures and selfies and just lots of quotes and pictures and stuff. And guess what? I'm not going to stop. Not for you, not for anyone's comments, not for anyone. Not for my boyfriend, not for my parents, not for my sisters or my brother. No one is going to change what I choose to do that's showing you my authentic self and how I want to show up in the world and what my mission is to reach people's hearts, minds, and spirits. Okay? But have some fucking consideration and etiquette when you go at a woman. And even for the women that go at a man, which I haven't seen really that, but I have seen a lot with the men going at women. We're not fucking snacks. We're not yummy. You might look at us and think, damn, that's yummy. That's delicious. I'd love to hit that. But don't tell us that. Okay? I get what the reality is, as most women do. And there are some women that actually love that shit and they eat it up. But I'm not one of them. I actually have class. I have love and respect for myself. And I expect people to come at me with respect. You will go a long way if you do. There's a way to compliment a woman from a man. There's a way to compliment a man from a woman. And if you don't know, email me. I'll even get on a fucking phone call with you and give you some tips, because it's not telling me that I'm yummy and delicious and all that stuff. And I wish someone would say, well, then don't post pictures with your ass and don't post pictures with your this, because you know what? That's fucked up. No matter what a woman wears on her body, no matter what a woman walks like, talks like, doesn't wear, that does not give a man the right to assume that her character is this way or that because of that. There are a lot of things we like to wear that showcase our style and are what makes us feel good. And until you personally know someone and have met them and sat down with them and talked to them numerous times and see and know what they're about and what they stand for, you have no place to judge. So just keep that in mind. Okay? The human connection truly is everything. And we're losing that battle very rapidly. And so I just hope that people will wake up a little bit and start to connect in person and on the phone and put their phones down and stop texting when you're with people and stop taking calls when you're with people and give some time to the relationships that you're trying to build, because otherwise they are situationships. They are not relationships. On that note, I'm trying to stay below 30 minutes. I'm not doing too well with that. I'm at like 28 minutes, so I got to get off of this video. I hope you stuck with me and I hope it sunk in. I love you. You matter, and peace out.